Well, we are here. Mike, hi. Michael, are you going to say something?
No, I can't. I've seen Alex, this challenge this week
Oh, yeah, that's right.
has just put me through so much,
Terrible moviness.
yeah, that.
Cool.
Just, to the point where I don't even know how to interpret the world around me anymore.
Well, you better try. Because before we have that, we have an interview.
We have an interview.
With our first ever guest coming back from last week. You know.
Are we bringing back...
Hey, Mike.
I swear to God.
Don't touch my book collection.
Mr. Mingle, it's so good to see you.
Thank you for having me.
So to all our listeners...
Don't touch my book collection.
Okay.
Whoa, Christian Mingle's back. If you haven't seen last week's episode, the first 10 minutes or so of this podcast will make no sense, and we're sorry for that. But I got a lot of messages last week about people telling me to invite Christian back on the show to answer questions.
He's a very famous character. I guess I'm going to be running this interview.
No, you're not.
I'm not?
Because we got a bunch of questions, because last week you just fucking let it slide out of your slippery mouth as send Christian Mingle some questions.
Do we actually get DMs and questions?
So here are some questions. I will read them to Christian, and if it's all right with you, you can answer them. No. All right. Great. Well, thank you.
All right, I'm going to fuck off for a while,
All
then.
right. Well, first question comes from AnalFeaster96.
Jesus.
What do you recommend when building a proper book collection? I think it's important to really look at something, the things that are really important to you in life, like the Bible. Go on. And find the things that really mean a lot to you, and then make sure everyone else knows that you have them and not let them touch it. That's an important part.
Mr. Mingle, I have a clarifying question. Is your book collection still growing, or are you set with the 6 books you have?
If I find something good, I will add it, but I haven't yet, so no.
There's
It's been 1 week.
It's been one... I don't know if you're actively seeking out books to add to your book collection.
Do not send me books, because you will have touched them. Do not touch my book collection. But thank you, AnalFeaster96. Do not touch my book collection. All right, we have the next question from my sister. Huzzah.
Is that the username, or is it actually your sister?
Both.
Okay.
Her question was, who's your favorite religious figure and why? Well, I want to say Jesus, because, he's a pretty cool guy. We've talked a few times, so...
I feel like there's a butt coming up.
Over the prayer phone.
Over the prayer phone.
But there's one other deity that I can really relate to, and that's Ganesh. Because with all of those hands, he still knows to not touch my book collection. Now that's a trait that I look for in a god. All right, great. Thank you, Alex's sister. Please do not touch my book collection.
Is that the end of the...
No, there's one more.
Okay.
This one I think is a troll question, because it comes from a user called TrollfaceLol87. Fuck you.
We have a lot of very interesting usernames
and
following us.
And the question is, Mr. Mingle, can I touch your book collection? Oh. No, you may not touch my book collection. Thank you. Do not touch my book collection.
It's literally his only personality trait.
It is my only character trait. I have nothing else going for me. Do not touch my book collection.
Well, I actually have a couple questions for Mr. Mingle.
Go for it.
How did you start collecting books?
Well, one day I was walking home from a place, and I stumbled...
What place? Was it a book...
You're not... No, doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter?
No, it doesn't partake to the story.
Okay.
And I tripped on a book. And that book was... I'm sorry. That book was the Bible. Then I took it as a sign.
On the Bible?
Yes.
Just like it was on the floor? Or was it... Where was...
No, I was walking on air, dipshit.
I don't know.
Yes, I was on the floor. And then I tripped over the Bible. And then I lifted it up and I was like, Tom, this is a chance for you to restart your life. So I changed my name. When I looked up born again Christian, the first thing that came up was Christian Mingle. And I took it as a sign from God to change my name.
So your name was Tom Mingle before this?
No, Tom Softsburg.
What happened to the rest of the Softsburg family name? Did you just say...
They're all dead. It doesn't matter.
Okay. Did you kill
No.
the Softsburgs?
No, they were smitten in a fire.
Because they touched your book collection?
Yeah, no. No. This was before my book collection. Then I started...
Were you running from the fire that killed the rest of the Softsburg family
And
when
then
you
I tripped
on
over the Bible. Damn, Christian. I know. And then I got home, and then I went digging, and I found Jesus' true stories, and then I started writing my memoirs.
Wait, hold on. You were just randomly digging, and that's how you found the autobiography of Jesus?
I was an archaeologist before this, and I was doing my very last dig. And then I found that book.
Were you specifically looking for the autobiography of Jesus?
No, I was looking for fucking dinosaur bones. I don't know why I curse now. That's not in my character that has been established for over a week now.
I mean,
sorry.
you can, I don't know, maybe you get very angry when you don't find dinosaur bones. Where were you digging for the dinosaur bones?
In my basement.
Where is your basement?
Under my house.
Okay,
Pay attention.
I'm sorry. I just, listen, I don't know.
You know what? I can't live with it. I can't do this. I'm just gonna...
Mr. Mingle, I'm sorry. Mr. Mingle, I don't know. I'm sorry. We lost Mr. Mingle.
He left. I chased after him for some reason.
You did, and I appreciate your commitment to seeing Mr. Mingle out the door.
So he's probably never coming back. I also didn't rehearse the voice before that, so that was rusty.
Yeah, I could tell.
Thank you.
But if you have more questions for Christian Mingle, I don't know if we'll ever see that man again, but you
Follow him on Twitter.
Does he have a Twitter?
No.
Oh, that's upsetting. But if you have more book recommendations for Mr. Mingle, actually, send them to us, and we'll do a bit Mr. Mingle's book review.
Great.
Yeah.
So that's all we had. That's the entire episode. Thank you for tuning in.
Yep.
Goodbye forever.
Well,
this is the end of the show.
Don't forget to challenge yourself.
Not until the end.
What? You just said, okay.
It was a joke.
Oh, I don't know. I can't tell when you're...
Welcome back to the Weekly Undertaking. My name is Alex. This is Mike.
My name is Mike.
Yeah. So after that... It's time for what this show's actually about this week.
How...
Terrible movies. Hooray.
How long were you planning to do this interview bit?
I don't know.
Okay.
Like a day?
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. Well, I'm glad that we stuck through with it.
No, actually, I'm sorry. I thought of it a day ago.
Okay.
And I remembered it, like, what is it, 7-4? It's like 8 minutes ago.
Well, I am glad that we got to explore that interview together.
Hooray!
Yeah. Okay. So, for those of you first time joining us, this is the Weekly Undertaking, the podcast where we do something new every week.
And then talk about it.
So what was our challenge this week, Alex?
This challenge week was to watch 7 movies that were at least below 10% or so on Rotten Tomatoes. So critically bombed movies.
Well, yeah, just generally
terrible shit.
Horrible movies.
Yeah.
And
I wasn't super strict with like the level of shit. Just like if people hate it, I was like, yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, Rotten Tomatoes is a very interesting kind of website because it's been criticized many times before because, you know, most recently with Captain Marvel, so many people can flood in and just
review bomb it,
tank a movie regardless of whether or not it deserves it. Similarly, how do you evaluate a piece of art based on, you know, how do you put a number on that?
You don't.
Yeah, and you
do.
One thing that I found is I watched some fucking horrible movies. And realized that they technically did not meet the 10% or less threshold.
Because you were entertained.
Even quite the opposite. They were, even though they clearly should have. So we'll get into that.
Oh, yeah, that one that we watched together.
Well, that was not the only one. Well, but yes.
We're going to have a huge one of those discussion about that movie.
Well, did you actually watch 7 movies this week?
At least.
Did you watch more than 7 movies?
Okay, here's a spoiler for everyone about our lives in the background of this podcast. Our scheduling got fucked up, so we're recording this way after we did the challenge.
Yes, a week later.
Yeah, so way after.
Yeah.
So I had plenty of time to watch as many shit movies so I probably watched at least like 7 or so.
Okay, cool.
Like definitely a ton.
I respect that because I did not watch 7 movies. My life is rough. I watched 4.
4, okay. Well, you know what? We were probably only to talk about 3 or so each.
Yeah.
So it's all good, bro.
Yeah.
I know you got a lot going on. Not all of us have time for literally garbage movies.
Is that... I feel like that's subtweeting me because you also have a lot of life going on and you found the fucking time to watch.
No,
I'm sorry.
Course not,
I
Mike.
failed my life.
No, I understand. You have a lot going on. You have that new hat you're wearing. It's very nice. I'm sure you'd spend a lot of time picking it out.
Yeah, I just kind of found it actually in the back of my closet.
Did you trip over it as you're running away from a fire?
From the burn that killed the rest of my family? Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I did. Oh, man.
Oh, happy Easter, everyone.
Oh, crap. That's right. This is getting released on Easter. Yeah.
I ran away from a fire that killed my family. Happy Easter.
Happy Easter, everybody.
For those of you who celebrate.
I hope that it's a pleasurable pleasurable time.
And happy Passover 2 days ago for everyone who celebrates that.
Yes, that's true.
Just get all the holidays out there.
Lines up very nicely this year. So yeah, okay. What? I guess we'll just dive right into this. What movies did you watch?
Let me see what I think of them. I watched Hoodwink 2, Hood vs. Evil.
Did that get less than 10% on Rotten Tomatoes?
I think it hit 11.
Ah, well, that's close enough. Okay.
Yeah.
That's horrible, but okay.
Hotbot.
Hotbot?
Naked.
Naked?
It's just a movie called Naked.
No, not And Afraid. And Afraid is the... Naked and Afraid is...
Just Naked.
Naked and Afraid is the sequel to Naked.
Yes. And then I also watched...
I just love the idea of a guy just being naked for an entire movie.
But he's not afraid.
But not afraid. And then in Naked, you just put, like, Freddy Krueger in there. It's just like, oh.
I have some jiggly bits. Don't chop them off, Freddy Krueger.
Oh, God. All right.
After that, I watched The Do-Over with Adam Sandler.
I'm not familiar with that one.
It's bad.
Okay, cool.
What else did I watch? Damn it, it's been a while.
It has been a bit.
You name yours while
okay.
I think.
I watched 4, so I watched the classic terrible movie, The Room.
Of course.
With Tommy Wiseau, which I have seen before, but I figured to refresh my memory.
Yeah. Hi, Mark.
Hi, Mark. I did not hit her. I did not hit her. It isn't true. It's bullshit.
It's not
I did
true.
not hit her.
It's bullshit.
I did not.
Hi, Mark.
Oh,
I love
man.
that movie.
Yeah,
I love it so much.
It's so bad. But what else did I watch? I watched Birdemic, Shock and Terror.
That's what we watched together.
We watched that one together.
That was beautiful.
That was god awful. Both of those movies, by the way, literally some of the worst films ever made. Both of them have over 10% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Birdemic had 19, right?
19%. The Room, last I checked, had 23%.
Damn.
Which is still abysmal. You failed the course if you get a 23 in the class.
But, like, still.
But, like...
Could have been an 8.
It should have been an 8, but it's kind of gotten a cult following, and also James Franco made that movie about it, so it's kind of mainstream now, but regardless,
that's just funny to me.
Yeah. What else did I watch? I watched, Food Fight.
Oh, I know Food Fight.
Have you seen Food Fight?
No, but I know it.
Okay.
I know it's a terrible animated movie.
Oh my god, we will get into that one because that is a trip in and of itself. That one had exactly 10%
nice,
on Rotten
just
Tomatoes.
made it.
And the critically worst movie that I've seen, but I think is the best of the 4 that I watched, was the movie Kazam.
Oh, what?
Starring Shaquille O'Neal as a genie that appears to a 12-year-old boy.
Oh, I've heard of that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Shaq's response to Space Jam.
Oh, wow.
But I could be wrong about that.
No, it sounds right.
And don't get me wrong, Kazam was awful.
Mm-hmm.
But compared to what got above a 10%, its 6% rating is probably a little...
undeserved.
Because at the end of the day, Kazam was a bad movie, but it could still be recognized as a movie. Oh man! So do you want to list any of the other ones?
I can't remember. How many did I list? Do-Over, Hotbot, Naked, Birdemic. I'm forgetting about 2.
Okay.
So I'll put them in the description if I remember.
Okay. What do we want to start with?
Sorry. I would actually really like to start with Birdemic. I want to talk about that movie with you.
Yeah,
Because that's the movie we watched together.
Let's discuss that movie.
Yes, so when we realized we couldn't record last week for various reasons, you came over anyway to watch Birdemic.
Yeah, because
we were going to do that right before we started, but shit doesn't work out all the time. So you know what? Fuck you.
Life happens in the way. Yeah.
But we remember plenty about this movie. So
how could you forget?
Okay, so for the basic plot of this film,
can we call it a plot? I guess.
I mean, things happen in succession. So
I guess if that's what we call it, yeah, okay, that's fine. Yeah,
I'd say it's about a 2-hour movie. Like, it's very long.
Is it? It feels longer than 2 hours.
It felt very long, but I'd say the first half of the movie, it's just this guy. What was his name? Rod.
Something like that. I want to say it's Rod. So, it's been a week.
Rod, who basically everything in his life works out for him.
Literally,
he has no obstacles to overcome.
Okay, well, first of all, before we get into that, the movie opens with a 10-minute driving sequence. Like, literally, no dialogue.
Like you're in the passenger seat of a car.
You're in the passenger seat of the car, just driving down the road. There are no birds. There is no nothing. It's just literally, you don't see any characters' faces for 10 whole minutes, 5 of which there's the credits rolling, and 5, there is no justification for the, like, no even attempt at a justification for the sequence.
Yeah, and then
for the next 50 minutes,
okay. you can ramble.
Was what you're saying is just a conflict-free, this man's life is going great.
Yeah, okay, well, let's lay out the events that happen.
Okay, sure.
So he goes into a diner and gets seated.
Yes.
And then on the way out, he sees a beautiful woman.
He's not leaving. A woman is leaving.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. A woman is leaving, and he's just sitting down and getting revs. And, you know, after he, like, checked her out, he did, like, the head swivel, and he gave her the up and down, you know, classic ass. He decides to get out of his chair.
Classic ass.
And chase after her, and they exchange. Turns out he knew her from high school in the most awkward way possible.
I cannot describe to anyone who has not seen this movie.
You have to watch it.
Just how bad and awkward the acting is. Also, the audio quality is awful.
Oh, it's terrible.
It's absolute shit.
And it shifts like from like really bad to very, very, very bad.
Yeah, like you can kind of make it out, and there's just some cars in the background, and then just like the mic goes kaput, and you can't hear anything for 3 seconds.
Much like Shark Exorcist, Michael and I did better as 13-year-olds.
What are you talking about?
Remember when we reviewed Shark Exorcist and we were like, made better stuff when we were kids?
Oh yeah. I looked at some of that stuff recently. Not sure if it meets that threshold.
Really?
Well,
we didn't do that bad. We didn't do that good.
Actually, you know what? You're right. We didn't do that. How do I put it? We did terrible. However, just that threshold of bad has not been met.
I'm trying to sell that these movies could have been made by like early teenagers, and it would have been better.
Probably
with different like situations.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that goes well. He gets her number, and then he decides to sell an idea he has to a company, and they buy it for $1 billion. He makes a sale for $1 billion.
We never get specified as to what the sale is. It's just cuts to him at a desk in a swivel chair, just like, yeah, can I lock it up today?
Great.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Actually, I'm doing acting a lot better.
Oh.
I would like to lock it up today. Can we? Yes. Great. Hangs up the phone. A guy comes over, just like, hey, how'd it go? Great. I just I just made a sale for $1 million.
No, it's like, how much did you sell it for? $1 million. And it's just like, it was a 10-second conversation.
Yeah.
You never sell anything in that amount of time, let alone something for $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we're getting caught up in the details here.
A little bit.
So anyway, I think it was after that he calls the girl and he asks her out on a date, doesn't set a time or place, but yet she knows where to go. It's cool.
And they meet up, and they have a very awkward date, but like it goes well enough for them to get to date number 2.
Yeah, and then, he starts his own green tech company. We can't forget that. And then he sells it for like almost $1 billion.
He does do that. And then at one point he calls over a guy just my favorite thing is this guy comes over and just like, hey, I'd like to put solar panels on my roof.
Oh yeah. And I forgot it.
And the guy like gives him an estimate, just like $20,000. And he's just like, really? Yeah. And then they go outside, and the sales guy turns around and just goes, or Rod turns to the sales guy and just goes, "Where would you want to put it?" And Rod says, "Right over there." And then there's a shot of just blank roof, just like nothing there
For like 5 seconds.
for 5 whole seconds.
We
and then
didn't need to know where the solar panel was going that specifically.
Because we never see the roof again. We never see solar panels put in.
That was my favorite part of the movie, where I was like, why'd they point that out? And then you just died.
I was just crying of laughter. But then they cut back to the guy, and it's just a normal exchange. Just like a pointless purchase of a thing. Just, oh my god.
I think he was trying to establish that Rod cares about the environment.
Was it?
Yeah, well, I think that was the intent behind that scene.
Okay.
Didn't work.
It did not work.
But that's what I got. Also, before I forget, I have a very strong feeling that this is just the director, like, self-inserting himself into this character and kind of, like, jacking off to, like, his ideal life. Where, like, everything works out, and he gets the super hot girl super easily, and he makes tons of money.
Well, but then there's a twist.
Oh, yeah,
there's
birds.
A twist.
There are birds in this bird movie.
Eventually, he and the girl, what's the girl's name? Do you remember?
Know.
Let's call her Liz. It's not Liz, but let's call her Liz. Rod and Liz finally, consummate their relationship. They have sex, and then they just cut away from that, and then immediately, no transition or anything, birds are attacking the city that they're living in. Just like, I kid you not, it was, first of all, the worst CG.
It's not CG, it's like they're GIFs.
They're GIFs
of birds just like repeatedly flying.
Yeah, the same thing. And for some reason, they explode.
Well, yeah, they kamikaze style dive bomb gas stations and buildings, and there's explode.
Terrible explosion animations. Oh my god. And so
this movie's a good time for all the wrong reasons.
So essentially, from that moment on, which, like I said, had no lead up to this thing. It literally was just cut to black, cut to the birds attacking, is a birds survival film, like a zombie kind of,
But done terribly.
Literally, it's Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds, if it was done by the worst version of Alfred Hitchcock. And also had survival tactics. Like, for some reason, they just drive along this road and have adventures and meet people and stuff.
I forgot my favorite part of this whole thing is the gas scene when they get pulled over. They pull over to help a guy, and he was like, "Can you spare some gas?" And they're like, "No, I'm sorry, we don't. We only have enough for us." And then he pulls out a gun and he's like, "You're gonna give me some gas," which is fine. I would suggest that would happen at some point
in a post-apocalyptic movie.
That part I don't have a problem with.
Yeah.
He makes Rod get out at gunpoint, and he brings him to the back where he lifts up the hood of the car, and there's a tank of gas. And then the guy takes it, and he backs away slowly, and then a bird flies down and slices his neck open.
Just like perfectly. We don't see any other birds. It's literally just a swoop, splurt of blood, and my favorite part is the guy doesn't drop down and die. He just kind of hobbles over to the side of the road where there is grass.
And it's like a little soft hill.
And he just gently leans over and dies.
And then, no, that's what happens then. There's no sound effects or, like, birds shown in the footage. It's just like, oh no, the birds are coming, we gotta go. And then he gets back in the car and slowly pulls away while leaving the gas on the side of the road. In perfect shot. It's like they didn't rush away. Like, he was one step away from putting his blinker on.
Yeah. I mean, because this was clearly filmed on a real highway.
Oh, of course. Well, you had to.
Yeah. So yeah, it was, man.
But enough talking about this terrible movie.
No,
you gotta watch it.
There is one more thing that I love that I need to mention, is that this movie was just so hard trying to sell that this is a climate change movie.
Oh yeah, it's about climate change.
And you know that because they have experts on climate change come in as survivors and calmly explain the dangers of global warming.
There's like a 3-minute scene where they meet a doctor and they just like have him in like one shot, just like, well, the ice caps are melting, polar bears are dying, the weather's going all crazy, and that's what makes the birds attack. And as you see, the birds are attacking, and they're killing people, and I'm investigating these waters where the birds are dive bombing, but, they're not dive bombing me because I love the environment, and humans are the real dangerous animal. I don't know why you're thinking about birds.
This is not an exaggeration. This monologue went on for 8 freaking minutes.
And then the birds keep attacking him. People die, and that's fine. You know, people suck. Fuck them, right? But, like, then the birds will fly away, but not really because the environments are terrible, and the ice caps are melting, and the polar bears are dying, and the weather's going all crazy, which makes the birds attack. And then people get killed by the birds, which is fine, and then the ice caps melt, and the polar bears die. I'm sorry.
I was letting you go. You were into that shit. I approve.
And then the ice caps melt, and I mentioned that, and the polar bears die, and then they attack people. Not the polar bears, but the birds, and the birds kill people, but then the birds...
Okay, we get it, we get it.
But that's what happens. And then they meet another guy, and he's like, I live in the forest, and I protect the trees, and I make sure they don't die, but they're dying from natural disasters, and the beetles that are eating the trees, but people are killing the trees because the birds keep dive-bombing people because they're killing the trees, I reckon. But I live here in the forest, and it's really nice. And
another 8-minute scene.
And the birds are killing people. But, you know, I'm fine with that because my redwoods are safe because I'm living here in the tree, in that treehouse over there. You see? Pan to treehouse. Back to band. And you see, that's where I live. Kids, do you want to come up into my treehouse and play with me? Oh, wait, I'm sorry. That's pedophilic. I won't do that then. But the trees are safe from the birds because they're trees, and the birds are killing people. But, you know, people are fine because they deserve it because they're killing birds.
The man clearly thought he was going to save the world.
And he was wearing a wig, too.
Yeah, he was.
Like a hippie wig.
Like a very... He also just shoehorned in, like, just to keep with the theme. At one point, in the first half of the movie, they go on a double date, and the guy and Rod comes out and just like, wow, that was a great movie. An Inconvenient Truth.
Oh yeah,
the Al Gore documentary.
He names the movie after saying it was a good movie.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, we gotta stop.
We got it. We've been going on about this for so long.
We have so many other bad movies to talk about.
Yes, we do. Okay. Do you want to go first or shall I?
Yeah, sure. I'm gonna say real quick. I just want to talk about Hoodwinked 2.
Okay.
Hood versus Evil.
TOO?
Yeah.
Okay.
You've seen it, right?
I think I have back when I was like 10 or whenever it first came out.
It came out in 2011, so you were like probably
12 or so, something like that.
But anyway, the original Hoodwinked, if you've seen it, it's on Netflix, and I love it. I actually watched it right before we picked this challenge, which is why I decided to watch the sequel, because I knew it was so poorly recognized.
I can't remember
but the first
Hoodwinked.
The first movie, it's actually really subversive and really smart. Like it's terribly animated.
It was like a noir movie, right?
It's a take on Little Red Riding Hood, but like with noir, and like each character tells like their side of the story, and they all interconnect terribly, but they all connect. And the twist is like you could see it a million miles away if you're not 10, which I wasn't at the time, so it blew my mind. But I love this movie because it has a lot of heart and a lot of character. And a lot of just love.
I did not know you were so passionate about Hoodwinked.
It's a weird movie for me, but I love it.
Okay.
But while Hoodwinked was like a twist on Little Red Riding Hood, Hoodwinked 2 is a twist of Hoodwinked without any like take on the original source material.
Really?
Okay, so here's what's the gist.
Okay.
The wolf and Granny are working for the frog. In an undercover agency.
I have not seen this movie in a very long time.
Yeah, so I'm gonna give you the lowdown.
Okay, I mean,
they're trying to save Hansel and Gretel, who's about to be eaten by a witch, and Red's off training with the secret society of the Hood or whatever.
What?
What
the fuck is this movie?
the Red Hood. Like they just make it like there's like a CIA type thing. There's like
gotcha.
Type thing, and then there's like a hidden society of bakers with like magic and shit, which also sucks. I hate when sequels add magic to like just like detective type movies. So there was no magic in the original movie. Why'd you add magic to the second movie?
I hate it when that happens every time, such as the specific instance.
And the twist sucks. Like the first movie is fine because it gives you hints and you can figure it out beforehand. The second one, it's just like, oh, surprise, these characters are evil. You were hoodwinked again. It's like, no, I wasn't. You didn't give me any hints. You didn't give me any way to solve that, you asshole.
So what was the plot of the movie?
Oh, I don't know. I don't remember. But basically, it was made 6 years later, but the animation is somehow worse. It's very surreal. The character designs are grosser. But it's just such a disaster to watch. I love the first movie. So watch Hoodwinked. Skip the sequel.
Skip Hoodwinked 2.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's...
I just had to get all that out there.
Okay.
Because, man, I love Hoodwinked. Sorry. That's my literal hatred for the sequel coming out of my body.
Gotcha.
All right, you go.
You want me to go?
I'm gonna take a break from my rambling.
Okay, cool. I'll go into Food Fight, which is a fascinating movie to me.
Tell me about it.
Because, okay, so Food Fight is probably the worst animated movie I've ever seen.
Oh, I'm sure we can top that.
Like, no. Okay, so there's animated film. I'm not commenting on that. I'm commenting on the animation quality of this movie.
Yeah, I'm sure we can top it.
Was literally the worst I've ever seen.
Yeah, we can do worse, I'm sure.
You seem like this is a point of pride for you.
Yeah,
it
is.
You're gonna animate something worse?
No, I will find something worse. I know I can animate something worse.
Okay.
I don't need to prove that to you.
Okay.
I know I'm terrible at animating.
Well, let me say this. The first half of the movie, similar to Birdemic, there are two distinct parts of this movie.
Uh-huh.
The first half of the movie is a film noir.
Okay, cool.
The second half of the movie so during the film noir, let me say, the main character is Dex Dog Detective. That's the name of the character.
Okay, cool.
And if you can't figure it out, it's a dog that's also a detective.
What?
Yeah, I know. And I will say the plot of this movie basically is that you've seen Sausage Party?
Yeah.
The Seth Rogen movie?
It's a good movie.
It's not really a good movie.
Well, it was fun.
I hated the movie, but it was similar to that in that the food comes to life at night in a supermarket. That's kind of the general world.
So
that
we
we're
have
living in.
talking animals and talking food.
Yeah, they didn't really explain how the dog belonged.
You pick one or the other.
Yeah.
You don't do both.
Yeah. Well, I think that the general thing was that it was the icons were the character, like the logos. So, for example, they got a lot of trademarked material in this movie, which is another thing that blows my mind. How is this movie so bad when it clearly has funding?
No, I think Food Fight is famous for having a lot of funding. And then
Really?
looking like that.
Because Mr. Clean makes a few appearances in the movie.
Oh, that's cool.
The Charlie Tuna, the guy from the tuna company.
Okay.
You know, it looks like a blue dolphin with goggles on. You know the one I'm talking about.
I think so. Yeah.
He's in the
yeah.
movie. Oh my god, I can't even remember all of the different characters. The IBM computer digital man kind of thing.
Okay.
Was in the movie. And they have a lot of famous voice actors in there.
Wow.
Like Dex Dog Detective, played by Charlie Sheen.
That sounds right.
Yeah. Hilary Duff is in it.
Okay.
Wayne Brady of Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Wayne Brady.
It plays a main character.
I like Wayne Brady.
Ava Longoria, you know who that is?
No.
She was in a lot of soap operas and stuff like that.
Cool.
But yeah, and Christopher Lloyd.
Christopher Lloyd's in a lot of bad shit, though.
Well, yeah, but he's Doc Brown and Hacker, and just seeing his voice in the movie was just like, what the fuck? Okay.
Was Phil Lewis in it?
Unfortunately not.
Oh.
Unfortunately not.
Okay.
I have a lot of respect for Phil Lewis. I'm glad he's not on there. Please come on our show, and we could discuss this movie. We'll talk Phil Lewis later.
Oh, yeah, we have a whole segment for him now.
I guess so.
Because our dark puppet master, Adam Rooney, who can control what we do on the show simply by making music for it. You know, fuck it. Play the song.
Talking Bill. We're talking Bill Lewis.
You're using that now?
Yes,
you don't wanna
we're talking Phil Lewis because apparently that's a thing that we have to do now. Thanks, Adam. You control this show more than Mike and me. Just if you wanted to make you talk about gourmet cheeses, he could just make a little ditty that's like, "Oh, it's Michael, and he's cutting the cheese." Bing. He can do that if he wants. He's the puppet master.
He is. Are we going to talk about Food Fight, or are we going to talk about Phil Lewis?
Yeah, the last news thing about Phil Lewis was that he showed up at Chapman University last October.
Really?
Apparently talking about abroad stuff in a tour for maybe one of his kids.
Where's Chapman University?
I don't know. Oh, it's there's one in Mineola.
There's one in Mineola?
No, hang on. I'm going to look up the university.
Okay, cool. Well, Phil Lewis made that's really cool.
He made an appearance, and that was the last thing he was in, news-wise, was, almost half a year ago.
He made an appearance. So he's just been off the grid since then?
I don't think he's been off the grid. I just don't think he's made the news cycle.
Oh, okay. I mean, I don't know. I respect that.
Oh, it's in Cali.
It was in California. Nice. All right. Well, Phil Lewis, if you ever...
Segment over. Play the intro. Play the song backwards. There there you go.
You have to do that. I hope you realize.
Of course I have to do that.
Okay. Well, back to Food Fight.
Yeah, sorry about that.
So the first half of the movie is Charlie Sheen as Dex Dog Detective, and his best friend, Daredevil Dan, who is a chipmunk.
Okay.
Are planning to propose to Hilary Duff's character.
Okay, I'm following.
Okay. For some reason, the engagement doesn't go on. I think it was Wayne Brady crashed his plane. And so the movie.
Of all the people in this, all the actors, Wayne Brady's like the least troublesome person, like in this cast.
Well, Hilary Duff was not problematic.
Well, more than Wayne Brady. What's Wayne Brady ever done?
Whose line is it anyway?
I mean, like bad stuff.
Oh, I don't think anything.
Yeah, he's a saint.
Watch
Wayne Brady, come on our show. Talking Wayne. Talking Wayne Brady.
I would love to have Wayne Brady on this show. Oh man, watch, we're gonna look up later and he's definitely murdered someone. And we're just like, he's done nothing wrong. He was probably justified in murdering that guy. Anyway, I will defend that man to the ends of the earth.
Yeah, he's a beautiful man.
Except his participation in Food Fight. Because, so, the movie just then cuts to 6 months in advance, away, in which we are just expected to believe that Hilary Duff's character spontaneously goes missing. For no reason.
Cool.
They never got engaged.
And the main character just happens to be a detective.
And he was also very obsessed with finding her for the past 6 months, to the point where he can't get on with his life.
Great.
Until he finds her. But no leads, no nothing. And then Christopher Lloyd, as a very badly animated, clear antagonist, waggling his arms, flailing all around, comes in and is just like, you are going to make Brand X a part of your store. That's like the thing. It's Brand X.
Brand X.
Yeah, and
Thinking some Powerpuff Girls over here.
The supermarket guy is weirdly obsessed with keeping with the products in his store. Just like, yeah, if there's room, I'll fit it in. And then the Christopher Lloyd character knocks over a potato chip, stomps on bag of potato chips, stomps on the bag, and there's this very weird shot of the supermarket owner just like cradling the bag of chips and mourning the death of the bag.
Oh, that's what they think comedy is.
Yeah, is it?
Probably.
I don't know. I think
sounds like a comedic shot.
I think that was legitimately this character. No, because it was a sympathetic moment. I think that this was legitimately them showing this character as caring about the supermarket.
Oh, okay. Well, then that's less good.
The movie then gets weirdly sexualized for a clearly kids movie. There's a bar fight.
Great.
In which the Mrs. Butterworth and the guy not Captain Crunch, but like a sea captain that was on a bag of chips, says that Mrs. Butterworth turns to that guy and just says,
"Was it the pirate's booty guy?"
No, maybe it might have been, but regardless, they say you shouldn't be doing anything. You're just ship faced.
I think we're done talking about Food Fight now.
No, hold on. It takes a turn. It takes a turn because the highly sexualized main antagonist starts a war, and halfway through the movie, it stops being a film noir and just turns into a war flick, in which characters die in the movie. Oh man, I could go off for a while, but there is clearly Nazi paraphernalia in the movie. There is so much murder. The dog detective kills the main antagonist. Well, actually, he doesn't kill her. He just turns her ugly because that's the worst punishment.
It's basically a death sentence right there. I should know.
And calls her a cold farted itch.
I appreciate your notes.
Yes. He also says, "Frankly, my dear, I don't give a spam." I'm holding for laughter after each of these. I hope you realize.
You shouldn't.
They also end the movie with they find an antidote to death for the icons and everybody that was killed.
An antidote to death?
Yeah, everybody that was killed in the movie, in the fighting of the movie, just comes back to life, and they have a party, a terribly animated, agonizingly watchable.
Of course, this
party.
movie has a dance scene at the end. Oh, I just remember one of the other movies I watched.
What movie?
The Emoji Movie.
Oh yeah, that was
because I had never seen it.
Uh-huh.
And God, I'm never watching it again.
Do you want to talk about the Emoji Movie?
I think in an episode about terrible movies.
Uh-huh.
And we've only done animated shit right for now. So
I've
I'm
not done animated shit.
no. We, like the last two movies we talked about are
Oh yes, you're right.
animated. So I'll just go over it quickly because everyone and their mothers has talked about this movie and how terrible it is.
Yes.
But it's an insult to children, who this movie thinks it's targeting.
Okay.
It's an insult to filmmaking in general. It's an insult to good writing. Animation was good, but that's just because these 4 fucking animators had to do it.
Okay.
But, it was fine animation.
All right.
It was like Birdemic in the way that it thinks it's standing up for shit. Like the Emoji Movie treats itself like it's promoting feminism and women's equality.
Is it really?
No.
Oh.
It does a terrible job at doing that.
Oh, that's
Like
upsetting.
I think
no, it's
one
not.
of my examples was like one of the character that's copying Wild Style from the Lego Movie.
Okay.
She's just like she's talking about like she goes into like something about Dropbox and just like I don't even remember, but just out of nowhere she was like, and you know what, men always take credit for things women do, and then Jean's just like, the main character's just like, that's rough, and then just walk away.
That's the feminist moment.
Her whole plot is
Well, that convinced me.
Her whole plot is that she was like a princess and didn't want to be stereotyped as a princess, which has potential to be like a good plot point.
Right.
It wasn't. And also like another thing is like she goes on is like, when the first set of emojis came out, the only thing a woman could be is a princess or a dancer or something, and it's like, but like emojis aren't meant to be like, man, I can be anything that's on the emoji list.
Well, people treat it as that,
It's
like
not.
There's so many like demands for Apple to make their emojis better and more inclusive, which is fine. I mean,
Yeah.
which is fine, do that, but it's also like, I'm more concerned with Apple's human rights record than I am.
But it's like just
Emojis are not that.
I'm not against the message. I'm against the way it was delivered.
True. Okay.
And I'm against the way that this movie thinks it earned the right to say something smart.
Right.
And because it didn't, and it didn't. So
It did not.
But
do you want to go do a different movie?
Yeah, I just wanted to talk about the shitty Emoji Movie real quick. But,
Okay.
I'll talk about Naked.
Naked. Okay, yeah, I'm interested in this
This is a
one.
Netflix original movie, of course.
Oh, all right.
It actually, Rotten Tomatoes score was not super, super low.
What
I'd
was
say, I don't remember, it was probably high 20s, low 30s.
Okay,
So,
that's
like,
not bad.
didn't do bad at all. But the plot is Groundhog's Day, except the guy wakes up an hour before his wedding naked in an elevator.
What?
That's the whole thing.
What?
So, and then every time the church bells ring in an hour past that, he gets sent back to the elevator to try and do it again. And this whole thing is like him trying to find ways to make it to his wedding on time, fully clothed, and like.
So instead of repeating the full day, he repeats the hour?
Yes. So he has an hour to do all that. And it does some clever shit with it, but it's still just like you could only look at it as a ripoff from
Groundhog Day.
From Groundhog's Day,
which wasn't even that good a concept to begin with.
Yeah, but like a lot of movies like try to do this, and I think only 2 have ever done it in a way that was successful, which was Groundhog's Day and Edge of Tomorrow, which actually explained a reason for the repeating days.
Edge of Tomorrow?
Yes.
I've never seen that one.
Was it Edge of Tomorrow? I think it was. It was with Tom Cruise.
I could be wrong.
I'm gonna look it up just to be safe.
Okay.
No, I don't care.
Okay.
Fuck you. We're taking a break from this podcast where I can look up. It is Edge of Tomorrow.
Okay.
So
cool.
yeah. Anyway, but that's a good movie. So yeah, this movie just it does some creative things with the concept where like the guy's in a fist fight with one of the guys who's like after his wife, and like he gets like beat every time, but like he remembers like his like attack motions, so he's like left hook, uppercut, and he like does all the dodges like, and it's like almost like a dance sort of, and like you could just tell like after every time he gets punched, he just starts over and has to like memorize it, and it's like a 30-second like fight scene, so there's like 50 different punches where it's like, wow, it's like that's clever. I liked that. Overall, it was harmless. It wasn't great. It wasn't good, but it wasn't terrible.
Okay.
I walked away thinking like, I've seen way worse shit this week.
Well, that's something. Okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to talk about it for a reason.
I appreciate that because that is very. That's strange. Does the movie end when he succeeds and he gets to the altar?
Yeah,
with-
he succeeds and he fixes everything out and he fixes himself because he's afraid of commitment in many ways, except for marriage. Ironically, like he was always certain about marrying her, which is good. But like he never wanted to hold down a job or do anything responsible. By the end of the movie, he learned that hard work pays off.
Wow, look at that progress.
Yes.
Okay.
So you should talk about one more, and then I think we'll end it because we're pushing 50.
Okay. Well, my last movie was Kazam, the Shaquille O'Neal thing. Well, also The Room, but I think that's been discussed before.
That's for another day.
Yeah. Kazam was a terrible movie. Period.
Done.
Yeah.
The end.
The end. It was
Dun, dun, dun. No.
Shaq raps in it, like a lot. Like
Oh,
there
really?
are several musical segments.
Cool.
Man, how do I? Okay, so there's a lot to unpack in that movie besides the fact that it's abysmal. So first of all, 12-year-old kid is constantly bullied, but also is a little shit. So I don't really feel too much sympathy for him.
Okay.
I feel sympathy for him because his mom is getting divorced and lied about about knowing where his father is and stuff like that. There's a lot of messed up family dynamic
I dig it.
in this movie. And then this kid stumbles upon a boombox that he kicks,
Oh, no.
and Shaquille O'Neal
pops out of
pops out of it as Kazam, the genie.
Oh, wow.
You get 3 wishes of material things. I can't fix your parents' marriage. I can't bring people back from the dead and stuff, but material things. And then
That's a good genie rule.
yeah, but like, oh my god, they say material things so many times in the movie.
Oh, really?
And eventually the kid finds his dad, his biological father, and turns out that he's a big part of the movie industry. Or no,
Really?
music industry. And they go to a concert to find him, and on stage one of the artists just points to Shaquille O'Neal and just goes, "Hey cutie, you get on the stage and do a rap." And he does that.
Oh, no.
And then the genie becomes a musical icon, and just like starts getting record deals and stuff. While it turns out that his father, the father of the boy, is is part of this huge secret underground music illegal black market facility.
Of course.
And I want to say, it's so funny how seriously this movie treats piracy of music.
Oh, great.
Just like the moment that the kid discovers his dad was just like, "Dad," and the dad's beating up a guy, and just like, "You gotta do this thing," and the guy that he's beating up is just like, "Piracy is a felony, man." Also the kid just kind of sneaks into criminal aspects, just like willy-nilly, just no guards whatsoever. So much terrible rapping from Shaquille O'Neal. My favorite and most cringeworthy part of the movie was Shaquille O'Neal defeats the main antagonist by zapping him into a ball
Okay.
and slam dunking him down a like a garbage chute.
I want to see that now.
That was a good moment.
Not the whole movie. Like, that's that clip.
Yeah, it was not worth the rest of the movie. I
I'm sure the
guarantee
payoff would be exactly the same.
Yeah, it was not worth it. So yeah, that was Kazam.
Kazam. So overall, do you think you have a better appreciation for shit movies?
Actually, I kind of do. I'm not gonna lie, because it's like from an analysis standpoint, terrible movies present a very interesting thing of accidental parody.
They teach us why we like other movies that are good.
Exactly, because they try to emulate that
And fail.
but fail. And it's just like, okay, well, why does it fail? Like, for example, in The Room, because why not? There is that famous, like, 10-minute long, very unsexy sex scene.
Yep.
So what does that tell us? It's like he was trying to make it sexy because Tommy Wiseau saw sexuality as such a prominent feature of advertising. So, it's an accidental parody of the overly sexual movie industry. similarly Birdemic,
Of course.
with its abysmal and shoehorned
Environmental
message, is just saw, oh wow, political messaging makes it big in Hollywood movies.
Yes.
So it's an accidental parody of that.
And subtlety is key.
Right.
With your super like played out messages.
Yes. I mean, I agree.
That's a smaller lesson I learned.
Which is why that fails, but it's such an accident. Terrible movies that honestly try to be good movies but fail are just, they hold up the mirror to society in a way that is completely unintentional, but is also equally interesting. So
Cool.
Yeah, which is why I hate Shark Exorcist, because Shark Exorcist does none of that. It doesn't even try. So Shark Exorcist is still my most hated movie of all time.
To see our review of Shark Exorcist, please look at our episode of something.
I keep
We did a
forgetting what it
Shark
was.
Exorcist. We did a Shark Exorcist review in one of our episodes. So
You know what?
I don't know. I guess you'll have to listen to all of them to find it.
Or maybe I'll listen to it and I'll figure it out and we'll post it.
We won't.
No, we won't.
This is going up tomorrow. So
Yeah.
We gotta fucking.
Oh shit, you're right. Yeah. Okay. No,
So,
never mind.
We're not gonna have time to do any of that.
But listen, because it's a funny review.
Yeah. So bucket time, or not really bucket time, but I'm gonna shake it anyway.
Oh yeah, I'll pick it out.
It's not
Pick-
in there
Okay. It's not in there?
because next week we have a very special episode.
Oh shoot, you're totally
you
right.
were about to say the wrong episode.
I was. Okay, so we have discussed this on air before.
We have planned it thoroughly to a point where it kills me inside.
It kills you inside?
Just a little bit.
Okay. Well, this week we watched terrible movies. This week we're watching what probably is one of, if not the most anticipated movie of the decade.
Yes, that's right. Detective Pikachu.
Yeah.
Just kidding. That comes out in like 3 weeks.
Did you have a countdown for that too?
I'm gonna watch it.
Okay.
Like on the first night.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're coming.
But we have tickets to an opening day premiere
Of.
Avengers Endgame.
That's a shocker. Wow. No shit. Hooray.
Of Avengers Endgame. So next week we will have watched the movie and we will give a spoiler full review
Absolutely.
of the movie. It's going to be an entire hour-long episode of us just talking about this movie.
The entire movie.
Because, I mean, I don't know about you, Alex, and I'm sure this is true, but I can't speak for you, but I am so excited.
No, you can speak for me.
Yeah, this movie is following the direct sequel of one of, if not the most enjoyable movie that I've ever seen.
Avengers Infinity War.
Avengers Infinity War.
Which, if we were a podcast when that movie came out, we probably would have done an episode on it, just like we're going to do for Endgame.
Yes. So I am very excited to see this movie.
And it's going to be a whole episode.
It's going to be a whole episode. So watch the movie and then listen to our episode, and that's going to be our episode next week.
Hell yeah, especially because, like, you know, we worked really hard to make sure that we could get it up in the same weekend. So you're welcome.
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. All right. So anything else we want to say? Okay. Well, thank you guys so much for listening. You heard a few new jingles this week from Adam Rudy, and his information is in the description below. If you like what you hear, please give him a follow. Likewise, we also have our artist Winston De Jesus, who helps us out a lot with the podcast art in all kinds of facets.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
that's a word.
Facets.
Yeah. Please show him some love. Give him some support.
It's all in the description, folks.
All in the description. We also have our own social medias in the description. Please give us a follow. And if you like what you hear, please give us a rate and review. Tell a friend, because all of that does help. And if you don't like it, if you hate everything about this show, if you feel a visceral hatred for what we do, please also spread
Let
that
us
word.
know. Yeah.
Because, well, I mean, also spread the word, because we got some enjoyment out of watching shitty things.
Any publicity is good publicity. Also, nice callback to this entire episode.
Hey! This is why we don't get good reviews. But regardless, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Yeah, until next week, don't forget to challenge yourself.
And yeah, try something new.
That was completely unnecessary, and I hated every second of it.
What is this podcast?